Hey all, my name is Kurt. I'm here with Trenton. Welcome to SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. And today, Trenton, we're going to do a little comparison today. One that's been bannered about for quite some time in the whiskey world, but you and I have never approached it. We're going to try to compare Caribou Crossing to Blanton's single barrel.
Little battle of the animals here.
Yeah.
What do you think would win, a horse or a moose? Probably a moose.
Well, that's a Caribou.
What's the difference?
That's a big difference.
Is there?
Yes.
Okay, never
You
mind.
have to watch a little bit of National Geographic once in a while,
Okay,
buddy.
you watch that a lot.
Oh, it's a good time. I like it.
Well,
National Geographic with a pretzel and a bourbon. Bingo.
that was loud.
That's a good night. That's a good
Good
night.
Lord. Anyway, what are we doing?
Well, as you know, you do not know, but my wife and I were in Arizona just a few days ago, just a couple of days for business. And we actually spent a few minutes at Trevor's Liquor. If you guys have never been in Scottsdale, if you ever go to Scottsdale in Arizona, the Trevor's Liquor, they have a north store and a south store. Try to get to the north store. It's beautiful. They've got a whole ton of amenities there. So your mom and I were enjoying one of their wood-fired pizzas.
They have that at a liquor store?
Dude, this had arugula, prosciutto, fig jam, garlic. There's some good stuff in there. It was really really good.
I like fig jam, but I don't know about it. I don't like with a prosciutto. I don't know. Now I want pizza.
Oh, it's good. But anyways, they have some decent cocktails. I wasn't drinking at the time, but they also have quite a nice whiskey selection because, of course, they are a store as well. So a couple of guys walked in. They were a little bit loud, but that's okay. They were having a good time. They're golfing. So they were talking about all the whiskeys that were on the shelf, and they walked by, and one guy goes, "Hey, they've got Caribou Crossing there. They've got Caribou Crossing."
Something I never thought I'd...
And it just, kind of got me thinking. And I know these two have been compared, but we've never done it, and I like to try it. And it's been years. Trent, and I found this, I think, 3 years ago. It's been sitting in the corner of my office.
So you're telling me you don't enjoy it all that much based on...
I've had a little bit.
This isn't a second, third,
I've had a
fifth
little
bottle?
bit. Yeah, now, Caribou Crossing is obviously a Canadian whiskey. It is 80 proof. Keep that in mind. It is 80 proof.
Okay.
Their claim to fame is that they are the first single barrel whiskey in Canada. They are owned by Sazerac.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So
Do you know if they distill or they source? Like whoever this comes from?
no clue.
Okay.
No clue.
Threw you
No
for
idea.
a loop there, huh?
I think they bottle it. I'm trying to remember. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. You always do anyways, which I appreciate. I always appreciate that. But I think they bottle it at Buffalo Trace.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, interesting. Well, I mean, that would make sense. It has a similar presentation style. I think I have one too when I bought it. I think it was like $50, but it came in like how Blanton's comes in that brown bag. This came in a nice blue bag.
Yeah.
And the wax on here was blue. It was really kind of neat. But, that would make some amount of sense. It also comes in the, what is this, Rock Hill Farms bottle?
The Rock Hill Farms bottle. And this is a beautiful packaging. It's got some beautiful etchings on both sides. Beautiful bottle. Yeah. It is. It's really neat. It's got the Caribou on top there. It's really a cool bottle. I will grant you that. Really, really neat stuff there. But can it stand up to the Mac Daddy of Buffalo Trace?
You would call this a Mac Daddy?
I think in most people's perception.
All right. I'd go a little bit of a different direction, but hey, that's cool.
Let us know in the comments. I'd like to know that. What do you think is the King Tut of Buffalo Trace? What do most people search and hunt for more than anything else from Buffalo Trace? Pappy.
Well,
okay, good luck.
So I know you said this is 80 proof. This is 93 proof.
Yeah.
What are we? We're just doing like a comparison against the two. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to compare one against the other.
So did you pour Blanton's in the beat?
No. You did.
You
poured these. Yes. So you gave me, now what you told me, you gave me A and B on my side, and you have A and B on your side.
Okay.
A will be the Caribou, B will be the Blanton's, and both of them are on our individual sides. That's a little different, so hopefully I don't mess this up.
I like to do things a little different.
Hopefully I don't mess it up.
So A is the Caribou Crossing. This is like the A1 steak sauce of Canadian. I've never actually had A1 steak sauce, but
okay.
What do you put A1 steak sauce on?
My
Walmart
dad-
steak? Why would you get a steak and ruin it with a steak sauce?
My dad would be amazingly disappointed with you right now.
What even is it?
No A1 steak sauce.
I can't imagine what you would even want to put that on.
Oh, it's pretty good. I like meat though. I don't need sauce, but A1 would be one I'd reach for if I did.
That's a shame.
All right.
That's a little bit more effervescent on the nose. What does that mean?
Vibrant.
Like smell? Effervescent. Is
A
that
little
a
bit of
smell?
vibrant, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more vibrant on the
Yeah,
nose.
that's what you're talking about, I believe there. And it's
I
got
think
some,
so.
it's got some, definitely has some sweetness there for sure. Some confectionery sweetness. It's not dark. It's not deep. It's not rich. I think it's a little bit of caramel in there possibly, and just a tiny hint of butterscotch.
Well, I know that with Canadian stuff, it's not usually like a new barrel of sorts. I think they do quite a bit of barrel sourcing, right?
When I did look into this, it did say aged in an oak barrel.
So not new. It doesn't
So
specify.
obviously not new, and where they got their barrels from now, that would be something cool to find out, is if they would ever age it in a used Blanton's barrel. Wouldn't that be something?
That would make sense of like the product flow, if like, but who
That
knows?
would.
In Canada, can't they like put junk in it? Like A1 steak sauce, if they wanted to, they could put a little bit of that in there.
It's a bit of a free-for-all with Canadian whiskeys. Now, there are some companies out there, there's some people that are really trying to effort to do things the right way and give you a nice, clean, no additive type whiskey. But in general, you're correct with that statement. Yeah.
That's shocking. I'm usually not really correct about much.
More than you think. I just try not to give you that much credit because,
that's
you
fair.
take it and run with it.
I do, yeah. Well, when you're not right often, you got to take what you can when you get it. A little bit of butterscotch too. I honestly I don't drink Canadian stuff much at all, so I don't know how this nose compares to other Canadian stuff, but it smells pretty nice.
All right. I'm going to let you ponder that sip just a touch. Keep in mind, this is an 80 proof product. In general terms,
Sorry. Do we know the age on this?
I personally do not.
Okay.
I didn't see it in what I read, but I didn't research a lot. The lower the proof you go, usually the lighter the flavor profile is on the palate. The higher the proof, usually the greater the flavor profile on the palate. So keep in mind, this is an 80 proof now. For me, personally, I really don't think it's too bad for 80 proof. I really don't. You get that sweetness. I do find that hint of butterscotch. I get a little bit of caramel. There's kind of a grain note in there of some sort. I'm not sure what that's all about, but
I will I will say that I have had plenty of bourbons / whiskeys that are this proof that are either less flavorful or a little bit more harsh on the palate. This, however, it's really just kind of like a nice mellow kind of thing. There's nothing that's gonna stand. There's nothing that stands out a whole lot. There's nothing that's like really obvious as to what it is. I mean, you get a sweetness. I can't really nail down what that sweetness is coming from. I get like a little bit of a grassy, maybe a grain note. I can't tell what it is, if it's like a bluegrass, if like what kind of grass type it is. I have no idea. It's nice, sweet, mellow. It doesn't burn. The mouthfeel is like for an 80 proof is surprisingly pretty nice. It's I'd put it at like a medium viscosity. It's not too thin, not really thick, but for 80 proof,
yeah.
I think it's.
Yeah, it's okay. It's honeyed. I think it's a little honeyed
What does that mean?
on the sweetness. It's honey, a little bit of honey, tiny bit of caramel. I'd still get that butterscotch very faintly on the back of my palate, but it stops and ends there. It's mostly just sweetness with that grain. You don't get the depth that you do with most bourbons because they're aged in new American oak barrels, and you get a lot more of that oak influence, which adds to the depth. It adds to the sugary oak sweetness to the glass. This one's kind of like sugary, little bit of sweetness there, and it just kind of falls off the table after that for me with that grain note.
Yeah.
Kind of where I'm at.
I mean, if I were purchasing this myself for the first time and I tried it, knowing that Canadian whiskey is quite a bit different than bourbon, I wouldn't be super disappointed.
Right.
I wouldn't
No.
seek out another one, but I also wouldn't be like,
Probably
oh
not.
man, I wish I didn't buy this.
Probably not.
Especially if you can get it for MSRP is like $50.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay any more than that. But
No.
it's not bad for what you get, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it sure looks really nice on the
It
shelf.
does.
It's a beautiful bottle. All right, let's move over to this Blanton's, Trenton. And I don't know, as far as I'm concerned, I'd like to know. Let us know in the comments. I'd like to know your answer to this too, but in my personal opinion, I'd like to know which bottle from Buffalo Trace is the most sought after, the most hunted amongst the general population and the folks that actually really go out there and try to find bourbon. My opinion, I think it's the Blantons. I think that's the most hunted.
I would say it's probably Bland's or Eagle Rare.
That very could be. Let us know, because I just thought of that as we're talking here. It's a very curious subject to talk about. But,
Or you go from that to like Pappy. You know, who knows? That'd be interesting.
yeah, but how many people actually hunt Pappy? Because I mean, really, you gonna find it?
No, I mean,
I'd like to know the odds of finding a Pappy.
you're probably better off winning the lottery.
similar to the lottery.
Usually, okay, when we have Blantons up here with a different lineup,
Ooh,
it usually doesn't really pull you in so much with the nose on it. But when you have something like a Canadian that's relatively mellow through and throughout,
Yes.
Blanton's does give you like a little bit of a punch to the teeth with the profile. I mean, it is quintessential Buffalo Trace. You get like a sweet tart pixie stick kind of sweetness and some oak.
Yeah, what's the proof? Was it 93?
93,
Isn't it? Yeah, 93. So we got a little bit increase in proof too, but he's exactly right. I mean, this is like Buffalo Trace through and through on the nose.
Yeah.
With the Blantons, I usually get a little bit more of an oak presence than I would, let's say, Eagle Rare, something like that.
Yeah.
Probably because it's a single barrel product, maybe.
Yep.
I don't know, but
Well, too, like this has been. We might have gotten these around the same time because this is my original Blantons, the first one that I've ever purchased.
is that right? So, go ahead, finish what you
This
said.
I was fortunate enough to find this at a liquor store on Christmas Eve in 2020, I believe it was.
I'll never forget that day.
And as you can see, I usually don't drink it too often. Honestly, I think if we drink it, it's for a show, or if somebody comes over and they've never had one.
And that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I don't ever pull out the Blantons. I will pull out Eagle Rare.
I have
but
one right now.
I don't ever pull out the Blantons for myself, for an individual pour.
Yeah.
I save it for folks that come down here and others that want to try it, and I'm happy to share with them. So I usually save it for that purpose too. So
The nose comparatively though, it knocks it out.
yeah,
quite a bit.
it's a step above.
That's Bland's. Yeah. Little bit. I don't want to say a little bit. A lot of it overhyped in my opinion.
Sure.
But still, I mean, if you can get it for MSRP, it's not a terrible bottle to have.
Which is now, I think, closer to 70.
I think it's
than
getting
even
there.
60. I think the last time I saw it was like $67, $68 in our area. You know, from when we see it.
Yeah,
I know
I
folks
haven't-
see it all the time for hundreds of dollars. Unfortunately.
I haven't seen a Blanton's for MSRP in a couple years now.
Really?
It's been a while. That and like Weller's getting difficult to find now. I haven't seen Weller in a while either. But for what it is, not bad.
I don't really hunt for hard to find bottles anymore. I'm the shelf guy. Trenton's my sugar daddy.
Did you spit too? I got something on me.
Yeah, you know, I just put it in his ear. Yeah, I'm running pretty low on Eagle Rare. Within a month or so, or whatever. Whenever he sees it, he'll grab me one.
I'm scarred.
He's a nice kid.
I'm scarred now. I have nightmares.
I used to hunt just as much as Trenton for the most part, but he spoils me. What can I say?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think if I were ever to see a Blanton's from SRP, I would buy it regardless, just for a shelf bottle. Or I have buddies that are into bourbon that are unable to find them, and I like to share the wealth.
Yeah.
Caribou Crossing, I think for me, it would be kind of more of a one and done. It'd be a cool bottle to have on the shelf. Cool, like a what do they call it? Like a looker, or like what?
Yeah.
An eye-catching bottle or whatever,
Yes, it
because the
is.
packaging is nice.
Yes, it is.
But I wouldn't go out of my way to find one, and I wouldn't probably buy one if I saw it again.
Right.
Unless it was for somebody else.
And obviously, if you or I ran out of Blantons, we would purchase another one if we're fortunate enough to see one.
Yeah.
At close to, MSRP.
Yeah.
So that pretty much says it all right there. As far as I'm concerned, Trenton, I'd give the Caribou Crossing a 1 out of 10, about a 5, and of course I'd give the Blantons, 6.5, something like that. That's me.
Yeah, I mean, comparatively, I could probably agree maybe like a 5, 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about Canadian in terms of the flavor that you're supposed to get from it, but like you said, it's a free-for-all, so they could be putting paint chips in it, and we wouldn't know any, I mean...
Well, we'll have to look into that and see.
I did see some floaters in there, so I don't know what that is, but...
Yeah, don't be looking too hard.
Yeah, $50, and I'm not as disappointed as I would have thought.
No, I'm glad we did this, actually. It was nice to revisit this bottle, and let's face it, both of them are beautiful, and both of them will look great on your shelf.
Agreed.
Well, that's for sure. Well, that's all we got for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a good time. I thought it was great.
This would be a good kind of question.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people seek out Blantons. Mm-hmm. If you seek out Caribou Crossing,
I'd love to know
with
that.
some frequency, or let us know if you search for it or how often you see it, because I haven't seen a Caribou Crossing around here in a long time. Mm-mm. So I'd be curious to see how available it is for other folks, or if other folks really like it or not.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Hey, have a great week. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. See you next time right down here with Trent and I in the good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.